Once upon a time in the land of the North, there lived a fat kid. But he wasn't just any fat kid. No, sir. He was Rob Ford, the soon-to-be most iconic mayor Toronto has ever had.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to address a number of issues that have circulated in the media over the last few days. There has been a serious accusation from the Toronto Star that I use crack cocaine. I do not use crack cocaine, nor am I an addict of crack cocaine.
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
I'll rip his fucking throat out, I'll poke his eyes out, dead, dead. I need dead.
He wasn't polished, he wasn't elite, and he sure as hell didn't fit the mold of a typical politician. But that was exactly why the people loved him, and why the world would never forget him. Rob Ford didn't just want to be mayor. He wanted to change the game. He ran on one simple promise: no more government waste, no more politicians out of touch with real people. Just a guy who spoke his mind and got things done. Say what you want about him, Rob Ford got things done, and was not afraid of making enemies with his fellow politicians. Here's a clip of Mr. Ford explaining the perks the city councillors have and how it's outrageous.
I've got all the free passes for councillors. I call them free perks that are tax-free, which is costing the taxpayers millions of dollars. So let's start off. Free zoo pass. Toronto Zoo VIP pass. The VIP named on this card and his or her family will be granted parking, admission, and rides at the Toronto Zoo without charge. I can bring everybody in my family here to the zoo for free. The average person has to pay $15, $20 to get in, $10 or $15 to park, $5 or $10 a ride. The poor average family is paying $200. Councillors that are paying, getting paid $100,000 get to get in for free. It's absolutely wrong. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's get on to some other stuff here. You multiply that by 45 members of council, you're looking at minimum savings of $20 to $30 million of taxpayers' money.
He cut wasteful spending, improved infrastructure, and fought tooth and nail to make life cheaper for everyday Torontonians. He wasn't just a mayor, he was a bulldozer in a suit. And yeah, maybe he wasn't the most graceful politician, but that's what made him real. He was Toronto's sweaty, red-faced underdog, and they loved him for it. But behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting. The job, the media, the constant scrutiny. It was only a matter of time before the cracks started to show. Act 2. The fall. Then, the story started. Drunken outbursts, bizarre late-night behavior.
Leave me alone, man. They got 5 months for me. And then trying to tell me, bro, we're counter-surveilling the guy, you know what I mean? He's hiding here, I'm hiding here,
The media smelled blood, and then came the video. The world was in shock. A sitting mayor smoking crack.
Don't do it.
The kids
are important to you. That's what drives you, baby. That's what I love. That's why we love you. Okay?
No, you don't know.
Your children, your family, your kids.
Toronto was now the center of an international scandal. The late-night hosts had a field day.
While we're on the subject of natural disasters, have you seen the latest episode of Toronto Mayor Rob Ford? Rob Ford has been quiet for a couple of months. He claims he's been exercising. He says he hasn't been drinking. He even hasn't done crack, he says. And that's big for him because he loves crack.
I want to ask you a question at home. Do you have children? Because if you do, you might want to go right now and wake them up and bring them downstairs. And gather them around the television set. I know they've got school tomorrow, but I think you'll agree once you see this clip, it's more important than school. This next clip will astonish and amaze you. This is Toronto Mayor Rob Ford addressing allegations that he sexually harassed one of his staffers.
Oh, and the last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life tour. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home.
Most politicians would have resigned in disgrace. But Rob Ford, he did what no one expected. He doubled down.
Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine. But no, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you?
Have I tried it? probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. I answered your question. You asked the question properly, I'll answer it.
How many
yes,
times?
I've made mistakes. All I can do now is apologize and move on. I don't know what. Guys, okay. Can I just?
Yes, please.
All I can say is I've made mistakes. And you guys kept referring to alcohol. There was a couple isolated incidents. There's been times when I've been in a drunken stupor. That's why I want to see the tape. I want everyone in the city to see this tape. I'd like to see this tape. I don't even recall there being a tape and a video, and I know that. So I want to see the state that I was in. But that's exactly it. I don't know what else I can say here. Okay, so I wasn't lying. You didn't ask the correct questions. No, I'm not an addict, and no, I do not do drugs. I made mistakes in the past, and all I can do is apologize. But it is what it is, and I can't change the past. And I can apologize to my family, my friends, my colleagues, and the people of this great city. I can't change it.
He refused to step down. He refused to hide. He admitted his demons, went to rehab, and kept showing up to work.
Reports he apologized to voters, then jumped right back into the race.
Rob Ford arrived back at the Toronto mayor's office today to what's become the familiar media frenzy. Then he called a news conference to explain how, after 2 months of rehab, he has finally begun to take control of his life.
Folks, this is a long, long road to recovery.
And in the weirdest twist of all, people respected him for it. Because underneath the headlines, the scandals, and the chaos, Rob Ford was still the same guy they had voted for. A fighter, a man who wouldn't quit on his city, even when the world laughed at him. Act 3. The Redemption. A folk hero is born. Toronto couldn't stay mad at him. Because love him or hate him, Rob Ford was pure entertainment. He was real, he was unpredictable, and he was still fighting for the people. And despite everything, the scandals, the rehab, the media circus, Ford never stopped being Ford. Even while battling cancer, he ran for re-election in 2014. He lost. But his impact? Unforgettable. Finale. The legacy of Rob Ford. Rob Ford passed away on March 22, 2016, at the age of 46 due to pleomorphic liposarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that affects soft tissue. He was first diagnosed in 2014 during his re-election campaign for mayor. The diagnosis forced him to withdraw from the race, and instead, he ran for and won a seat on the Toronto City Council while undergoing treatment. Despite multiple rounds of chemotherapy and surgery, the cancer eventually spread, leading to his passing in 2016. Even in his final years, Ford remained a fighter, both in politics and in his personal battle against the disease. His legacy, filled with controversy, humor, and undeniable influence, continues to be remembered in Toronto and beyond. They laughed at him, they cheered for him, and now they remember him as a legend.